Joe inspects your house and Susie's your realtor, get your advice about the house from Joe because he's the one that inspected it. So if he tells you everything looks good, then you should, if he's qualified, you should be able to take his word for that. But if you're getting the advice from the person who's not qualified to tell you that,
right?
What are you doing? Why'd you hire the guy to inspect? Why'd you hire Joe in the first place if you're getting advice from the person who didn't inspect it? Don't mix that. Don't mix that up. Listen to your inspector. Look at his report and read it, and make sure you understand what it says. If you don't, call him and have him clarify, because that's the wordage that's the verbiage that counts.
And I mean, I don't know when I first learned about the panels that you shouldn't have, right? And the names of them. Mm-hmm. Not every new agent, not even any old agent maybe they don't know. Maybe they've never heard of the brand. I've heard of the brand so many times because I've dealt with so many condos, and usually they're in condos. It's a learning curve. So you know, I would understand if maybe she was a newer agent and she didn't know. Right. But you know, the inspector should also be very clear with the agent. Hey, you need to get this. You're very clear with me. Hey, you need to do this. You need to take a look at this. And you'll follow up with me and call and say, hey, did you address X, Y, and Z? Yeah. And I'll either say yes or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it happens a lot. So it's talk to your inspector. Your realtor's there to help you, but some realtors, they're not listening. And they're going to just tell you, oh, it's good, we could deal with it later. And I've seen those things blow up in their faces. So it's cool that you want to listen to your realtor, but get your advice on the inspection report from the person who inspected the house. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Because we don't know everything.
You don't.
We like to think we do sometimes.
Yes,
I like to think
correct.
I know everything.
So do I.
All right, I'm just going to...
But I don't. I know I don't.
I know I don't know everything. And we make mistakes and we overlook things, and it just happens because we're human. Some agents are better than others, you know, in general, right? Some of us are more detail oriented than others, but sometimes there's so much information that we miss stuff. So when it comes to any questions you have about your report, if I can't answer it, I'm going to say, hey, call the inspector. Yep. Call him and go over it. He will impress upon you how important it is to handle whatever that issue was.
Right. Okay, Stacey Franklin from Pinnacle Estate Properties. You've been a great guest. I loved how you really broke down everything we just talked about. I think a lot of our listeners here are really going to get a lot from that. I get a lot from that. I think we taught each other a few things today.
We did, as we do every time we see each other.
Right. So I expect to hear from you about more pre-listing inspections. You need to push this on your customers. It's very helpful. It's going to make your transaction go a lot smoother.
You're absolutely correct. So if your client is willing to do it, which you've done a couple for me. Yeah. But if your client is willing to do it, get it out of the way.
Just get the facts.
You know,
it's about getting the facts.
Because a $100 issue that can be repaired before you open escrow with a buyer and have another inspector come through can really make that difference between whether the buyer stays or leaves escrow.
That's right.
So some of the smallest things can blow an escrow up.
Yes. And so let me tell you one of those small things.
Tell me.
Avoiding a sewer camera inspection.
Right.
Okay, we didn't go over that, but we're going to do it right now.
Okay.
It slipped my mind. The importance of a sewer camera inspection. The sewer camera inspection, for those of you who don't know what that means, is a high-definition camera gets put into the sewer line between the building and the city connection, which is typically in the street or in an alley behind the house, depending on what neighborhood it's in. Nobody can guess the condition of that pipe unless you're Superman and have x-ray vision, which I haven't met one of those guys yet.
No.
So the only way to know the condition of that pipe, and that's what the purpose of the inspection is, to know the condition of the pipe, not the age of the pipe. Once again, it's the condition. That's the important part.
Right.
Is it open? Is the pipe open? Is it flowing? Is it pitched properly? Is it holding water? Does it have roots in it? Is it broken? That's what you want to know, because that is probably the single most expensive thing on a property if it goes bad.
Right.
And too many times, I'm sure you've probably heard this, somebody walked away from a house because the sewer was trashed, and it would have been 30 grand to fix it.
Yeah.
And it was, not all sewer lines are created equal.
No.
A lot of people don't get that. Some homes are very basic, and they just be a straight line from the front of the house out to the street. It's going to mostly consist of clay if it's original. And there's nothing wrong with clay pipe, but it can have problems. It can have cracks in it. The roots come through the joints. But the minimum repair, like a spot repair, let's say there's a 12-inch section of pipe that needs to be cut out and replaced. That's going to be at least $2 grand.
Right.
So
and then you have a property that's sitting in the back of a flag lot where you have a paved driveway from the front of the street all the way back. And if you don't know what a flag lot is a house that's situated behind another house. So let's say that house has a 6,000 square foot lot. You're driving however many square feet back from the front of the street to get to that house. And then you have your toilets in the back of the house and upstairs and whatever. And then you have your sewer line that comes all the way out to the street underneath pavement.
Yep.
And if you have to replace that entire line, that's a whole job.
Yeah,
that is not just the line. That is demo and replace
the driveway.
Yep. So
yeah,
it's important to
it's a
to
super
have that
important
done.
inspection, and that's why I started doing them 5 years ago. And if I do 25 houses a month, I'm doing at least 20 sewers. 20 of those houses I'll have done the sewer line on too.
Good times.
And it's just really important. So I didn't want to end this episode without saying that. So another good point for sellers: if you don't have a recent inspection of your line, get one done. It's a few $100s. Know the facts. Maybe it just needs to be cleaned. Most people don't ever maintain their sewer lines.
Right.
Sometimes they just need to be cleaned.
I always present when I go in to talk to a seller, all of the inspection options that they can have before they list their property. Sewer line, termite. Sometimes you get hit with termite.
Sure. Sometimes
you don't. But I mean, termite can be expensive. And the pre-listing, if you're on a raised foundation, you're never under your house. You don't know if your toilet's leaking, if you have a fastener that's not on properly, if there's a gas leak under the house, right? The gas line is deteriorating. We turned the gas off at this listing that I'm working on, turned it off to do all of our installations and turned it back on. And my plumber was like, I hear hissing. He turned it off because he heard hissing.
That's not good.
And the whole backyard was filled with gas. We just replaced the line yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The three main inspections for any house should be general home inspection, which is covers most systems, and then termite and sewer line. Now, keep in mind, a lot of sellers don't realize that their house doesn't have an adequate clean out to even access the sewer line.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the biggest
pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
pain in the ass. Because
let's just be straight with them, John.
Yeah, because a lot of times on sewer lines, people think, oh well, I ordered a sewer line inspection, so that means it's going to happen.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It means you ordered it. And the person showing up, most likely, so that you can count on happening. But a lot of times I show up and I'm like, you don't have a clean out anywhere that's accessible. Just because you see a little thing sticking out of the wall this big does not mean we can get a camera in there.
Right.
I fight with people over this all the time, and it's so frustrating. I had a termite guy tell my customer after I just left that there's no accessible clean out under the house, around the house. The roof was way too steep to get on to do it from there safely, so I couldn't go down a plumbing vent. I said, ma'am, there's no way for me to get into this line. Termite guy shows up after I left, tells the customer, oh, there's a clean out under the house. My phone blew up. They're insisting. I'm like, can somebody send me a photo of what you're looking at? So they sent me a picture.
So like this big?
The pipe, the clean out opening would have been good, but it went like that. It went down immediately. It went over and up again, over and down again, down here and that way. And they wanted me to enter that.
Oh my God.
It had 5 turns within 3 feet. And I had to explain to them, it doesn't work like that.
No.
So they wouldn't take all of a sudden, my information was useless to them because a termite guy who doesn't do sewers told them there was a clean out. That shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
And that is my worst.
I think I've done it to you.
That is the worst. That is the worst. So
yeah.
Just because you see a clean out, let the person who's doing the inspections tell you if it's accessible or not. I'm not there to sell you a clean out. I don't do repairs. I'm just letting you know I can't get in your line. So
yeah.
But yeah, that really happened. I was like, what the fuck? Like, tell the termite guy to focus on termites.
Right.
Please, because it wasn't accessible. So anyway, that was a great story.
Yeah.
Your Halloween story was awesome. Yeah, that was definitely a horror story.
Definitely.
I feel bad.
And
she's lucky it didn't catch fire.
Kids sleep until 11 and she's at work at 6 a.m. And, it's like such a dangerous situation to be in.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest. You've been a great guest. And
thank you for having me. Excuse me.
How can any listeners that looking for a realtor with your expertise find you?
Well, the easiest way to contact me would be on my Instagram. I check my messages all day long. I'm at Stacey Franklin _real estate on Instagram.
Okay.
And you can also check my website out at staceyfranklinrealestate.com.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much and have a happy Halloween.
Hey, I will. I'll be doing witchy things.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't prepared enough. I should have had a pumpkin head right here.
You should have.
I totally wasn't thinking.
I think I have Halloween stuff in the car.
All right. Thank you, Stacey, and we'll talk soon.